Hello everyone, myself Piyush Tandel, working as Assistant Professor in Electrical Engineering Department of Mahatma Gandhi Institute of Technical Education and Research Center, Navsari. We are talking about the subject of microprocessor and microcontrollers, which comes in third year, sixth semester. Right now we are discussing the chapter number 1, that is microprocessor based system, and this is the module number 2. Now, in this video lecture, we are going to see the functional unit of digital computers. Okay, so the computer consists of five functionally independent unit. Computer consists of five independent unit. Now, first one, that is the input unit. Second one, that is the memory. Third one, that is the arithmetic and logical unit. Fourth one, that is the output unit. And fifth one, that is the control unit. So these five are the basic of the independent function units. Now, as we can see over here, figure shows that five functions unit of computer and its physical location in the computer. So it is shown as its physical location. So input unit is given over here. Then after the whatever the signal we are sending from the input unit to the control unit, it is going to the control unit, or we can say arithmetic and logic unit over here and control unit over here, and it is going to interlink with the help of memory unit. So data is going to store in memory and also recall from the memory, and whatever the process is done after that, we can get some amount of output from the arithmetic and logic unit to the output units. Okay, so the input unit accept the digital information from the users with the help of inputs device such as keyboard, mouse, microphone, etc. So whatever we have input device like camera, mouse, keyboard, joysticks, digital board, this all gives some amount of input signal to our control unit or arithmetic logic unit. Okay, next, that is the memory information received from the input unit is either stored in the memory for later use or immediately used by the arithmetic and logic unit to perform the desired operations. Okay, to perform desired operations. Next, the program stored in the memory decides the processing steps, and the processed output is sent to the user with the help of output device, or it is stored in the memory for the later references. Okay, so memory is directly linked with the control unit. All the above mentioned activities are coordinated and controlled by the control unit. So all the activities are controlled by the control unit. The arithmetic and logic unit is conjunction with control unit is commonly called central processing unit. So arithmetic and logic unit and the control unit, so these two unit we can see over here figure, this whole figure, or we can say this whole block is called as a central processing unit, or we can call it as a CPU. Okay, in which the combination of arithmetic and logic unit and control unit. Okay, now here we have monitor. So the monitor is our output device. Here we have RAM, that is random access memory. Then after hard disk, which is going to store any kind of program, any kind of data. Then after DVD, which can be used for as a read or write, both process. Then after here we have processors. Then after here we have the speaker, which work as a output devices. Then after mouse, that is work as a input device. Then after keyboard, that is again work as a input device, and joystick again work as a input device. So these are some of the details information regarding your desktop or personal computer, or we can say hardware of our personal computers. Okay, next we are going to see the input. Right now we are starting with the input device. So a computer accept a generally coded information through input unit using input devices. Okay, the most commonly used input device are keyboard and mouse, because keyboard and mouse are most important for giving any kind of code or any kind of data to the processor, to the controller, or to the CPU. The keyboard is used for entering text and numerical information. So whenever we need to enter text or numerical information, we are going to use keyboard, and mouse is used for position the screen cursor and thereby enter the information by selecting a proper option. So mouse is used for positioning on the screen cursor. Okay, We need to remember keyboard is used for entering the text and numerical information, while mouse is used for the screen cursor and thereby selecting some proper information options. Next, a part of keyboard and a mouse, there are many other, apart from keyboard and mouse, there are many other input devices like available, which are joystick, then after tackle ball, then after space ball, then after digitizer, then after scanner. These all are called as a input devices. Okay, so here is the keyboard as an input device, then after mouse as an input device, then after here this is how tackle ball is look like, tackle ball, or we can also call as a trackball. Then after joystick, we already seen joystick somewhere. Then after table or digitizer, we can use for graphic design. Then after scanner for scanning any kind of pages. Okay, these are all input devices. Next, memory unit. The memory unit is used to store program and data. So what is the major or main function of the memory is to store program or any kind of data that is given from the input devices. We have already seen different input devices, so these all input devices is going to give some amount of data, so we need to store that data. So all that data is going to store in memory unit. Usually two type of memory device are used to form a memory unit, that is primary storage memory device and secondary storage memory devices. These are the two basic type of memory storage, that is primary storage memory and secondary storage memory device. The primary memory, commonly called main memory, primary memory can also be called as a main memory, is a fast memory used for the storage of program and active data that currently process. Okay, whatever the process is currently going on, we are going to use the main memory, or we can say primary memory. The main memory is semiconductor memory. We can also call it as a semiconductor memory. Remember this term, the main memory is also called as a semiconductor memory. It consists of large number of semiconductor storage cells, each capable of storing one bit of information. Okay, it is consist of large number of semiconductor storage cell and each is capable of storing one bit of information. These cells are read or written by the central processing unit, that is CPU, in a group of fixed size called word. Okay, fixed size called word. We can also write or read on this memory. The main memory is organized such that the constant of the one word containing n bits can be stored or retrieved in one written or read option respectively. Okay, we can also read or write that constant word with the use of AND bit in the memory unit. To access data from the particular word from main memory, each word in the main memory has a distinct address. So whatever we are going to given some amount of data, that is a single word or alphabetical orders, that have some amount of these distinct addresses that is located to it. This allow to access any word from the main memory by specifying corresponding addresses. Okay, whenever we are going to specify corresponding address, at that time we can also call specify constant word that is predefined in the system. The number of bit in each word is referred to as the word length of one computer of the computer. Typically the word length varies from 8 bit to 64 bits. The number of such word in the main memory decide the size of memory or capacity of the memory. The size of computer main memory varies from few million words to tens of millions of words. So size is depend not only depending on the sub form some million words, it is going to depend on tens of thousands of million words. Okay, an important characteristic of memory is an access time. This is very important now. The important the important characteristics of memory is access time, the time required to access the word. Okay, the access time for main memory should be as small as possible. Typically, it is in order of 10 to 100 nanoseconds. Okay, 10 to 100 nanoseconds. The access time depend on the type of memory. In random access memory, fixed time is required to access any word in a memory. In sequential access memory, in sequential access memories, this time is not fixed. So whenever we are going to talk about sequential access memory, this time is going to vary. But whenever we are going to talk about the RAM memory, at that time the time to access the word is constant. Okay, or we can say same for all the words. The main memory consists of only randomly accessible memory. These memory are fast but are small in capacity, okay, and inexpensive. Therefore, the computer used secondary storage memory such as magnetic tape, magnetic disk for storage and large amount of data. So, storage program concept we are going to see. Today's computer are built on two key principles, that is instruction are presented as a numbers, then after the program can be stored in memory to be read or written just like the numbers. This principle lead to storage program concept, so we can edit our program after written also. According to the storage program concept, memory can contain the program, that is source code, the corresponding compiler machine code, editor program, and even the compiler that generate the machine code. So we are writing anything in the form of words or codes that is going to convert into the machine language, and then after it is going to compile in machines. Okay, that is called as a stored program concept. Now we are going to talk about arithmetic and logic unit. The arithmetic and logic unit is responsible for the performance of arithmetic operations such as addition, subtraction, division, and multiplication, and logical operations such as ANDing of two numbers or two gates, ORing of two gates, and inverting, etc. So arithmetic and logical unit is mainly perform any kind of mathematical operation that are going to be performed in CPU. To perform these operations, operand from the main memory are dropped into the high-speed storage elements called register. High-speed storage element that is called as a register of the processor. Each register can store one word of data, and they are used in store frequently used operand. After performing operation, the result is either stored in register or in memory location. It is depending upon the instruction which we are giving to the logical units. Okay, next is output unit. The output unit send the processed result, whatever the result we have obtained from the processing unit. It is processed result to the user using output device such as video monitor, printer, plotter, etc., or speakers, right? The video monitor display the output on CRT screen, whereas printer and plotter give the hard copy output. Printer are classified according to the printing methodology, that is impact printer or non-impact printers. Now we are going to talk about the control unit. The control unit coordinate and control the activities amongst the functions units. Okay, the control unit fetch the instructions stored in the main memory, identify the operation, and the devices involving in the accordingly generate control signals to execute the desired output. So control unit is going to perform whenever we are going to give some amount of instruction to the memory. At that time the memory is identifying the operations, and devices involve define the devices that involve in the operation, and control signal is executed as a desired output. It uses control signal or timing signal to determine when the given action is to be taken place. It controls the input and output operation, data transfer between the process, then after memory and input output devices using timing signals. Okay, the control and the arithmetic logic unit of the computer are usually many times faster than the other device connected to the computer system. This enables them to control the number of external input and output devices. So our computer is very fast as compared to the connected other devices. Okay, so this is enable the control number of external input and output devices. So normally the control unit is going to control each and every parameter which is connected with the computer. Next, we are going to see the microprocessor. So the microprocessor is sequential digital circuit which provides the flexibility to the performer or to the perform different tasks upon execution of corresponding instruction sequence. So each microprocessor has fixed set of instructions which are coded in binary. Each instruction are coded in the binary. The microprocessor has the circuitry to read instructions from the memory and execute the instruction to perform particular tasks which we already defined to our microprocessor. So figure show the block diagram of microprocessor. Over here we have A, that is the accumulator, temporary, then after ALU, that is arithmetic and logical unit, then after over here we have status register, then after over here we have instruction register, then after instruction decoder and control unit, and in last that is general purpose register, program counter and address bus. Over here this is our data bus, and all these things are connected with the help of data bus. And over here we have connected control bus with the help of control unit. Okay, and this is the simplified block diagram of microprocessor. So microprocessor consists of these all the things in one integrated chip. The block diagram shown in the figure have three major devices, that is ALU, several register that are accumulator, status register, instruction register, program counter and general purpose register, and the third one that is the control unit. So these three are the basic or major devices that are used in the microprocessor. So what is the program counter? The program counter gives the address of memory location from where the next instruction is to be fetched. Program counter is going to fetch the next location to the instruction. Okay. Then after instruction register, so instruction read from the memory is loaded into the instruction register. Okay. First of all, it is then sent to the instruction decoder. The instruction decoder decode the instruction and give the decoder signal to the control unit. So this is the main working of instruction registers or instruction register. Next, that is ALU, or we can say arithmetic and logic unit. We all know what is arithmetic and logic unit do. So ALU of the microprocessor perform the arithmetic and logic operations such as addition, subtraction, and or exclusive or exclusive nor, complements, that is one's complement, second complement, shift right, shift left, and so on and so forth. So we can do whatever mathematical operation we need to perform, we can perform with the help of arithmetic and logic unit. Now next one, that is register, or we can also call it as a or accumulator. A register or accumulator we can also call as a. In most of the microprocessor, register A gives data from the ALU, that is arithmetic and logical unit, and after performing the operation, the result data word is sent to the register A and stored there. So whenever we are performing any kind of action with the help of ALU, the output is going to be stored in accumulator. This special register where the result is accumulated is commonly known as accumulator. So this register is commonly known as accumulator, so we can indicate it by capital letter A. Next one, that is status register. So status register is used to store the result of certain conditions such as result is 0 or negative, etc. So we have specific amount of or specific type of result. At that time we can use the status register to store that different amount of results when certain operations are performed during execution of the program. The status register is also referred to flag register. Okay, sometimes it is also called as a flag register. Next is control unit. So the control unit is responsible for working of all the other parts of the microprocessor together. So control unit is going to control all the other parts to work together. Okay, it is maintained the synchronization in operation of different parts of the microprocessor. So all the parts need to be work in synchronized manner, so we can get the desired output only. Okay, the control unit receives the signal from the instruction decoder and generate the control signal necessary to carry out the instruction execution. Then after bus, so the microprocessor communicates with the memory and input output device with the help of common communication path, that is called as a bus. So whenever our microprocessor is working with the memory or input output device, it is commonly connected with the communication bus. Okay, there are three types of bus, that is address bus, data bus and control bus. So whenever we are going to send some address, at that time it is sending from the address bus. We are storing some amount of data, is going to use data bus, and if we are going to send some amount of control signal, then it is going to use the control bus. Okay, that's it for the module number 2. If you have any kind of query, then please ask me in comment section. Thank you.